So welcome to the session, which is OUSET, an introduction to your charitable trust. I'll be your presenter today. My name is Gemma Church and I'm the senior fundraiser working on behalf of OUSET. And we'll also be joined a little later in the presentation by Emmanuel Chukwunonzo, who is our student speaker today. And he'll be joining into around 11:45 to have his chance to let you know a little bit about his student journey. So just a little bit of housekeeping first. We just mentioned about the microphones. Just to let you all know, this session is being recorded today. And we will not have a question and answer section for this, but we will have people messaging and sort of monitoring the chat, and they will try to come back to you. And while Emmanuel is doing his speaking, I'll also pop into the chat as well. But there will be a signpost for useful resources, which we will share during the presentation. So you will have your avenues of where to ask the correct questions that you're looking for as well. So thank you for that. And I'll just check if there's anything else we needed to cover there. Yes, I just checked we are recording. So we will kick off with the session now. So before we get too far into it, just a little brief section about our code of conduct. So during this session, please note that our code of conduct applies in this space. You can click the link on or go onto our website to view the code of conduct directly from the page from the association's website. But just briefly, effectively, please be respectful to others in this space. We won't read out the full code of conduct, but as I said, it's available on the website. Just show respect to others. We do have a zero tolerance for any bullying and harassment, and any attendees that do not adhere to our code of conduct may be asked to leave or removed from the session. I'll leave that up for just a moment if you just want to have a quick look over that before we move on to the next slide and get started with the presentation. All the good information. Okay, so we'll just move on now. So the agenda today, so it's quite a packed agenda, so I will try and cover as much as I can before we move on to our exciting speaker. So we're going to touch on what OUSET is. We'll have a little discussion about the Board of Trustees for OUSET. We'll have a look at exactly how OUSET is able to help OU students. We'll also look over the funding criteria for OUSET. And we'll have a look at the application process and payment, so how that actually works in practice for our students from the first point of contact with us into the point where they're actually getting funding to help them continue their studies with the Open University. We will also have a little look at some fundraising and promotional work that we're doing for OUSET, and that's all about raising awareness of OUSET and funds for its grant giving activities. And then finally, we'll move on to our speaker, Emmanuel, before having a quick brief thank you. And we will, as I said, try and come back to any questions you might have in the chat as well. So let's get straight into it, everyone. So what is OUSET? So OUSET is the Open University Student Educational Trust, and we were established in 1982 by the Open University Student Association. So actually they're affiliated trust, charitable trust, and we do have our own registration number as we are fully registered with the Charity Commission. And we operate through the association. We don't have our own staff. The way that we operate is we have a management fee. So actually it's association staff that help OUSET run from everything from the applications to all of the bylaws and information that we need to make sure that we are compliant with the Charity Commission terms of rules, etc., including all of the secretarial duties that are required to have our own board of trustees and make decisions about how the trust progresses and operates in the future. And I'll just move on to the next slide just to talk a little bit about the Board of Trustees themselves. So the reason I think this is important to bring to your attention is a lot of people don't realise that we have our own Board of Trustees for OUSET who are made up of students. So we do have 8 trustees, and the roles that are coming from the association specifically in the Open University, which are always included in our Board of Trustees, are the Vice President of Administration, the Vice President of Student Welfare, the Chief Executive of the Association, and the previous past President of the Association. That's the Student Presidents as well. This is quite good just to point out to everyone, because there are points where you might be able to vote on who is a part of the student leadership team of the association, and that does affect who is involved in decision making for OUSET, the trust. We also have a trustee who's nominated by the OU Vice-Chancellor. So the OU Open University do also have a say in what goes on within the trust as well. And all of our board of trustees work on the board for a maximum of 2 years, unless there is special circumstance in which they may be asked to stay on a little longer. So if you are interested in volunteering at all or being a student trustee, there could be a chance of you coming over and having a say and having some input into the activities that go on within OUSET. Just move on to the next slide for you all. So how we can help. This is the bit I'm sure a lot of you want to know. What does OUSET do to help our students? So we actually do give out quite a lot of grants per year. Over the last 3 years, on average, we're giving out about £100,000 worth of grants every year. And our average grant is around £2,486. As the OU modules the price of OU modules has risen in the last year, that is actually looking to go up slightly, our average grant as well. Because what we give out the most is grants for module fees. And we're helping students that would otherwise not be able to continue their studies due to financial hardship. And one of the biggest things is we all know that modules can be quite expensive, and that's usually the first thing, unfortunately, that's cut when you've got a roof to support over your head, mouths to feed. It can be quite difficult to find that funding. So we sort of operate as a safety net to help students that might not qualify for loans, for example, and have tried other avenues and have not been able to find a way to fund their continued studies and development and continue their dreams. Because a lot of people at the OU, we are trying to, myself included, I'm an Open University student, we're trying to find ways in which we can work and continue studying and progress into the careers that we may wish to move into in the future. So it's really important, especially, with the UK's talent shortage that they've talked about recently in a couple of the meetings I've witnessed with the election coming up. So module fees. So generally we're ranging between 50 to 90%. I will let you know it's generally around 90% that we give out for applications for module fee funding for students. The second that we get them, the second most popular requests that we get through our applications is essential study equipment. So things such as laptops, printers, and even, writing equipment if it's required for your course. These can all be expenses that we've struggled to justify when it comes down to the nitty gritty. We're in a cost of living crisis, and some students might find it difficult to find specific loans that will cover that sort of assistance. So OUSET can help there as well. Moving on more onto number 3, the set books, material for study, for example, there are lots of courses where we need to buy the books specifically, and that can add up. So we can help with that as well as any other sort of requirement for purchase that you might need that is relevant to the module that you have picked. We're not going to be able to buy you a book if it's not relevant to the module, but we can if it is. Number 4, so travel and dependent care costs. So for some of the modules, it may be that you need to travel to, say, residential schools, or you might need to go face-to-face, or maybe even come into campus. And for some people, that can be quite expensive. We do understand that it can be quite difficult with public transport. Things have gotten more expensive, trains, for example, and that can really put people off. And that might put them on a back foot or make them feel that they've been put on a back foot for their course. So you can apply to OUSET for assistance if that is something you're not able to afford. Don't just give up. Come ask for help. We might be able to help you there and make sure that you can get to that essential, say, residential school or day in the university, the study days. We can assist you in getting there. And the 5th that we get quite often is repair costs for maintenance. I know that I had my laptop break a little while ago, and the stress that caused me before I could get it fixed was immense. And when you've got things like EMAs and TMAs due, having working equipment is super important. So if you do have issues where you need repair costs or your equipment isn't working to a point that you are finding it's affecting your studies, you can reach out to OUSET and we may be able to front that cost through our grants and help you and pay for that so that you can continue your studies with the Open University. So because in all cases, we are a grant giving trust. So OUSET is a grant giving trust, and we provide study related grants to all current OU students. We are, all of you do qualify for assistance, even those that are studying outside of the UK. We do get quite a lot of international students that come to us for assistance, and they all qualify for assistance as long as you meet the funding criteria, which we will touch on in a moment. I will just move on to the next slide for all of you. So the fundraising criteria that we'll touch on in a moment, the moment has come. So the funding criteria can be a bit daunting when you first look at our page. So we have a web page which has all of our application information on it, and we have really great step-by-step guides there, which can kind of take you through the process following this if you do end up coming to OUSET or think that OUSET might be able to help you in the future. So what I've done is I've just put a little bit of information here. I just want to touch on it briefly with you because I could do an entire hour session on the funding criteria on its own. So we help both undergraduate and postgraduate, so they both have slightly different criterias. What we have in the criteria is we have what we will consider for applications and what we will not consider. And it's very important that you read through that. One thing that we do get is students that have maybe had funding at undergraduate and they assume it will be the same for postgraduate, and it is slightly different. So we ask anyone that is interested in applying to OUSET goes onto our website and reviews the criteria ahead of applying, because we know you're very busy. I mean, I'm a student. I know what it's like when you've got deadlines coming up, fitting things in around other commitments that you may have, like family and work. If you're going to fill out the application, you don't want to be wasting your time on it if there is something that might not work. And if you had at any point reading through our criteria questions or weren't quite sure, we have a fantastic team that answer all questions here at the association regarding OUSET, and they're very happy to answer any questions you may have. There's no such thing as a silly question to them. Send it across, but we'll just review that criteria first. And if you're not sure before filling out an application, please do reach out to us. We want to help you. So please do email us. And I'll put a resource link in the chat later to the email address for any questions regarding our application information. So what I've done here is just put a couple of brief highlights from the will consider, the most important bit, for our criteria. So one of the biggest things for OUSET is we help current students. So you have to, in both cases, you need to have a minimum of 60 credits already behind you in order to qualify for assistance for OUSET. There are other sort of the OU Hardship Fund, for example, which are able to help new students if there's any funding issues, and we're kind of here to help current students. So that's one of the most important things that goes across both criteria to share with you. From students who have already commenced their OU studies, one of the things we need them to also understand is there are caps to the funding that we're able to help with. Now, this is something that changed in 2021. So previously there wasn't any caps in place, but due to ongoing work for financial sustainability for the trust to make sure that we are here for many years to come, we have had to include those caps, but we may look to review that in the future. But it's just something to bear in mind if you're sort of planning funding sort of longer term. If we move down onto point 3 and 4, you'll see this is where it starts to change between the postgraduate and undergraduate criteria. So with regards to the undergraduate criteria, you can apply for a maximum of 60 credits in any academic year, which would be, you know, we have that could be 1 or 2 modules, because you do 60 credits and 30 credit modules. And for a maximum of 180 credits at that stage. So if you're an undergraduate student, you can only get up to 180 credits worth of funding for modules from OUSET before moving on to your postgraduate, where it would then start again. So then you would fall under the postgraduate. We wouldn't take into account your undergraduate funding in any postgraduate applications. And the difference here is because postgraduate, they may have slightly larger credit modules, say the 90s and 120s. So we do say it's for a maximum of 60 unless someone is applying and there's like my module is a 90 or a 120. And then our board will make considerations of how much support we're able to provide to you. So we'll move on from that. But as I said, the funding criteria can be quite difficult, and I'd just love to reiterate, if you do have questions or want to even have a call and speak through it, our team are here to help you. So you could just email them. If email's not your thing and you'd rather talk, you could just send an email saying, I'd really love to have a chat, and they can schedule a call with you as well. So please reach out to us. We really want to help more students continue their studies and achieve their dreams. So the application process, I've put this in the easiest form I could do for you all for now. So this is a very basic idea, a sort of idea of how it works. But effectively, as I've already said, we ask everyone to read through the application criteria carefully before they apply for funding from OUSET. And we need to make sure that if you are going to apply for funding from OUSET, you need to have reserved or registered for your module beforehand. We're not able to provide any funding if you're not on that course, and we won't be able to progress applications unless you have a reservation or are registered on the module. You can reserve and pay at a later date or in instalments with the OU, but if you do have any questions about that, you can reach out to us or speak with the OU about the reserve and the ability to reserve and register onto modules. But by the point that you're applying to us as you're a current student, you should know sort of the general process that's included in there. Then to complete your application, so on our website we have an application information page. As I said, it has guides on how to complete your application. Any questions, you can reach out to us and we'll come back to help you. And then you submit your application. Now, we do have quite strict deadlines, and that's because we do have a small team, and we have seen that we have quite a big increase of applications coming in, likely because of the cost of living crisis and things getting a little bit more difficult to afford. So we do need to stick to those to make sure that everything is fair for all other students, and that we are able to process applications and get payments in time for people's courses starting. So all the applications are on the all the application deadlines are well signposted on the application information page. They're actually on the first page. If you scroll down, you can see the deadlines for all the different intake periods there. And if you again had any questions, just ask us. And then you just have to await the application decision. So one thing we like to let everyone know is it takes between 4 to 6 weeks to get a turnaround on if your application has been successful or not. What we do ask is that anyone that sends in their application, it's a fully completed application, because what we don't want is, 2 weeks down the line, we then send it back to you saying that there was some information that wasn't completed, for example, because that could mean that you don't reach the deadline if you then have to resubmit. So just make sure it's completely filled in before submitting it to us, so that those times, that sort of period of time is not lengthened for you, and to make sure that you definitely get that grant in place before you need it. And so we'll move on, just because now we want to have a little look at how the application payment actually works, because this is a big question we get from students, like, do I get the money? Does you get the money? Do I have to sign more forms or fill out more paperwork? So the biggest thing we get, as I said, was module fee applications. So we give awards to those, and that payment goes directly to the Open University via a sponsorship agreement that our team put together. So we just ask that you sign that sponsorship agreement, and then it goes to the OU, and then that's how that money is sent across. So you will not receive that grant at any point. However, that the money in your account at any point, sorry. So the one of the others that actually does come to you, and this does come to you in all cases, would be the travel and care costs. So if you need to, care costs is, if you need to go to a residential school, for example, and you need assistance with care, you're going to have to pay that carer. So we would put that payment in your account within 2 instalments, and the same for any travel. So if you sent us, I need to get a train to X, and I'm going to have to get, a bus to the rest to the final destination, we would work with you to find out how much that would cost, and we can again put that into your account within 2 installments. So that is how that would work, and then you would obviously pay for it and then let us know afterwards and send receipts, etc. But all of this would be communicated to you by our team ahead of you going on that travel. And then any other cases, so you did see there was 5 different avenues that we generally give grants for. The way the payment comes to you is assessed by a case-by-case basis. So we would let you know well in advance of how that payment was going to come through to you. We'll just move on to the next slide. So how is OUSET funded? How do we get our money, and how do we make sure that we've got money for your grant applications? So OUSET is fully supported by donations. We don't have our own income stream, so we are fully reliant on donations. And this is the sort of 4 main avenues of donation that we get to OUSET to support our grant giving activities. Now, I'd like to just reiterate here that any donation made to OUSET goes to our grant giving activities solely. Every penny that comes in goes towards helping other students through our grant giving activities. So our biggest one we get is the student donations made via our website and our online shop. So we do have a OUSET website which was launched this year, our own which has our own donation page on there. So that is one avenue that students make donations to OUSET. Quite often people might be visiting the page looking for assistance or just having a look at what's going on with the trust, and they are then able to set up, individual or monthly donations or annual donations to the trust. And on the online shop, if you do want to go and buy yourself an OU branded hoodie or, to have your, what is it they have? They have the champagne flute so you can have at your graduation. When you're going through the online shop, it does actually have a section where you can donate to OUSET. You can tick a box and pick an amount to donate to OUSET. I will just say briefly, I can hear some background noise. If everyone could just check that their microphones are muted, just in case. I don't want anyone not to be able to hear. Thank you. The other donation we get is we have an annual donation from the Students Association as their affiliated trust. They do give us a donation each year, which is based on the commissions that come in from totem student cards. Oh, sorry, Helena, I think your microphone is on. Okay, thank you. So this totem student card, that's a discount card. We actually, the association gets commissions for the sales of that card for OU students. So if you are thinking about getting a student card, that will actually directly help the association's activities and also OUSET's grant giving activities as well. So I have mine. I actually use mine to buy my wedding dress. So you never know where it can come in handy. The third we have is legacy donations. So people can set up a legacy in their will, and we do get quite a lot of income that comes from that. Obviously, it's very sad for the reasons that are there, but we are putting in place a how to build your legacy page on our website if anyone did want to do that in advance. It's always a bit of a morbid thing to do. I'm currently writing my will, but it's a smart thing to do just to make sure that your money goes where you want it to and not where you don't want it to. And then the final one is this in 2023 we started our own active fundraising projects and activities which are led by myself as a senior fundraiser. So that's just another avenue in which you can do some good and also raise funds and money towards the association's activities. I'll just move on to the next slide for you all. So the fundraising promotion. So as I've mentioned, in 2023, it's actually the first time we've been in a position to actively fundraise for ourselves and promote ourselves. We want more students to know about OUSET so that if there is any point in their study journey, they might not need us now, but they might need us later. So we're doing quite a lot to try and raise our presence, which includes putting together a newsletter which lets students know how our applications are going in, if we're getting the percentages are increasing for applications, for example, how many people we've funded within certain periods, as well as any updates with the trust, any news, and anything that might be upcoming that may be of interest. So that started this year, and that's a quarterly newsletter. So you can sign up to that if you are interested in knowing what's going on with the trust. You can take part in our fundraising activities. So we've already run quite a few fundraising activities since we started this role of having our own active fundraising, such as the Step Up for OUSET campaign that ran between October to December, where we collaborated with the OU student group OU Fit, and we actually had over 660 people take part in that. So it was a fantastic opportunity for us to really spread awareness, and we raised about just over £300 towards our grant giving activities through just donations by sharing that activity, and it was a fantastic way for us to build more of a community for OUSET. And the next one that we have that's coming up is the 3 Yorkshire Peaks Challenge, which will be running on the 31st of August. And that is a 24-mile challenge across 3 of Yorkshire's most beautiful peaks. And where the challenge is that we're going to try and do that within 12 hours. and we've all, through sponsorship, raising money for OUSET. Our goal is to try and raise enough to cover a module fee for an OU student, so that's just over £3,362. And we are currently about, I think we're almost reaching 10% towards our goal for August. So we're hoping to smash that out, but it will be a fantastic opportunity as well for students to meet and do some good, as well as setting themselves a little personal challenge for the summer as well. If you do want any information on that, I will pop a link in the chat as well when we hand over to our student speaker today. There are 12 places for the Yorkshire Peaks Challenge, and we currently have 8 left. And I've actually been told today that I've got 2 more that are looking to sign up, so those places will go. So if you are interested, please do check out the page and sign up, or you can email me. I'll be putting my resource of my email address in the chat later as well. If you have any questions or are interested but not quite sure, I'm always happy to talk anything to do with OUSET, so please do reach out to me. And then also the donate page on our website, as we mentioned earlier, is one of the things the whole website design and development was something that was put in place for our fundraising promotional work to improve our online presence, to help trusts find out about us as well if they want to give towards our grant giving activities and want to support the trust in general. And we will be having more coming out. So if you're interested, we'll always put all of our activities on our website. We have our own website page there for what's going on and what's coming up. So you can just check it out or sign up to our newsletter if you want to find out more. And then here are the useful resources. So you can find out our full criteria on our website, as I mentioned, and there's just a little link to the website, but I will put that in the chat in a little while as well. The email address to reach out if you have any questions about eligibility for OUSET is up there as the second resource. That's ouset@open.ac.uk, and the team will come back to you if you have any questions, and they're happy to support you. And then for anything to do with activities such as fundraising, promotion, or any community engagement activities that OUSET is doing that you might have questions about or want to get involved with or collaborate with us on, there's the email address there to contact myself. That's ouset-fundraising@open.ac.uk. And all of these email addresses are available on our website as well. So if you don't have them today and you go on to OUSET, if you just put OUSET into Google, we always come up, or you can reach us through the association's website. You can find all those resources on the website too. And then, yes, we're making it on time. This is fantastic. I now get to introduce Emmanuel Chukwanonzo, who will be sharing his student story with you all and discussing how OUSET's assistant has impacted his journey with the OU. So I'm going to hand over to Emmanuel now. Thank you very much for your time so far. Emmanuel, I'll hand over to you.
Okay, thank you, Gemma. Nice to meet you all. My name is Emmanuel, as Gemma rightly said, and I'm happy to be here this morning. And my story goes like this. The history of my undergraduate studies cannot be discussed or talked about without mentioning the pivotal impact played by the OUSET. Then the OUSET is there for us to, embrace their impact in our lives and the importance of their support system. Because I know that the journey to completing university studies is often fraught with financial challenges, but an unwavering passion for education can be a powerful motivator, enabling individuals to overcome these obstacles. The support system, such as those provided by organizations like OUSET, played a crucial role in helping students reach their academic goals. In my own case, attending events and the conference organized by educational institutions like Open University can offer inspiration, networking opportunities, and a sense of community, thereby reminding students that they are not alone in their pursuit of higher education. Then it requires some perseverance and determination as well. The educational journey is not a walk in the park, like I rightly said earlier. It requires perseverance and hard work and an unwavering commitment to the end of everything, which is the goal to graduate. The journey may take longer than anticipated anyway, but with determination and resilience, the finish line is achievable. Brief history of my personal experience. My educational journey began in 2004 when I initiated my university academic application. In the year 2005/2006 academic year, I joined Open University. Initially, I envisioned completing my studies within 3 years or 6 years, but life had other plans. Throughout my time at OU, I faced numerous financial challenges that threatened to derail my progress. However, my desire and passion for education kept me going, fueling my determination to cross the bridge, no matter the unprecedented challenges. Now the role played by OUSET. While struggling to make ends meet, I witnessed others graduating, and I vowed to myself that one day I too will join their ranks. I studied on pay-as-you-go basis, so to say. It took me years to cross that bridge. Without the intervention of OUSET during the final stages, I may not have been able to complete the studies. Now the turning point. One fateful evening, I came across a voluntary application for the OUSET General Conference in Milton Keynes. As an avid volunteer, I applied and my application was accepted. I attended this conference, and attending this conference proved to be a life-changing experience. During the workshops, I met OUSET representatives and other groups, and the interaction were remarkable. OUSET's representative at the conference explained their roles and provided me with a leaflet, which prompted me to reach out to them upon my return to London. Then the result. My application for OUSET assistance was approved, and I received a grant to complete my studies. The culmination. In the year 2020/2021 academic year, I finally completed my undergraduate studies and attended the graduation ceremony the following year. It was a momentous occasion with a large gathering of guests celebrating my achievement. I proudly raised the Biafra national flag on stage, creating a memorable and a symbolic moment. Now the reflection and gratitude. While changing the world may seem like insurmountable task, focusing on personal growth and becoming a better person can have a tremendous positive impact on others. Therefore, it is beneficial to work on oneself and live worthy of emulation. The key is to never to give up and to continue working towards one's own goal, no matter the challenges. I'm forever grateful to Open University and to OUSET for their invaluable support and profound impact they had on my life. Attending the OU event can be not only motivational, but also life-changing. As you can see, through attending this event, it made a tremendous impact in my life. Once more, I'm forever grateful to Open University and OUSET for their invaluable support. My experience underscores the importance of never giving up on one's dreams and aspiration, as success is within reach with hard work, determination, and the right support. In conclusion, the journey I began many years ago finally culminated in 2021, a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of support system like the one we all enjoy from OUSET. If I could achieve this, I firmly believe that others can too. You that are listening to me right now, be courageous, never give up. Never give up your dreams and your aspirations, because OUSET is there to step in if you need your help. With hard work and determination and the right support, success is within reach. I encourage you today to attend as many as OU conference as you can, please. If I had not attended OU conference, I could have missed the opportunity to know what OUSET is all about. Notwithstanding, do not say that you attended OU conference last year or a few years ago. I can assure you that each conference is different, and you will learn new things and meet new people each time you attend OU conference. So attending OU conference is very beneficial, as you can see from my own story. And through the degree I got through the Open University, I was able to get admission, as currently I'm studying MSc in Health and Clinical Psychology, Birkbeck University, London. So hopefully in future, I hope to come back to Open University, because it's part of my life. Open University is now like a family to me. So I thank you, OUSET, thank you, Open University, and thank you for listening to my little story. I will now hand over to Gemma. Thank you all.
Thank you, Emmanuel. That was a fantastic. Your determination is truly inspiring. And on behalf of myself and OUSET, thank you so much for joining us today. Student stories are so impactful and can really help others to reach out for our support. So thank you so much. And I just reiterate what you said, never give up, always reach out. We can find ways to help. And yes, thank you all so much for attending our session today. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out. We're happy to speak with you and answer anything that you may have. I hope you have a great rest of your time at conference. And I'll give you a few minutes back before you have to run on to your next session. So goodbye, everyone, and thank you. And Emmanuel, again, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day as well.
Thank you.